On the news tonight, CBN commences cashless policy implementation amid scarcity of new naira notes. INEC says insecurity poses danger to 2023 elections. Federal governments to end fuel importation by 2024. While on the foreign scene, Joe Biden undertakes first trip outside the U.S. since assumption of office. Good evening and welcome to the major reports. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. Nigerians have decried the scarcity of the new naira notes as the Central Bank of Nigeria commenced the implementation of the cashless policy nationwide. Those who spoke in separate interviews with Osbc News complained that just few of the banks have the new notes in their automated teller machines. Our reporter Oluchi Amoda reports.
A bid to reposition Nigeria's economy and control the amount of money in circulation, the Central Bank of Nigeria commenced the full implementation of the cashless policy, which placed a strict limit to the amount of money that can be withdrawn by individuals and by corporate bodies. The Apex Bank also began the dispensation of the redesigned 200, 500, and 1,000 naira notes through the ATM and over the counter. Osbc News investigation in some banks' automated teller machine points in Oshubu revealed that most of the ATM were still dispensing the old 500 and 1,000 naira notes, while very few of them had the new naira notes. A financial expert, Mr. Dumoye Oluwiyiwa, described the scarcity of the new naira notes as unacceptable, most especially in view of the fact that the old one will cease to be a legal tender from the 31st of this month.
The truth is that the new notes is still scarce in circulation. CBN is not pumping enough new naira notes to the circulation. The best practice should be that as customers, as they are bringing the old notes, why they want to withdraw, either through the ATM or across the counter, the best practice would have been that it is the new notes that should be given them, or that should be dispensed to them through the ATM. So there is still a lot of challenge regarding that. And most especially the rural dwellers, how do we expect them to cope?
Another bank customer, Mr. Abdul Fatai Adebayo, said he was lucky enough to withdraw the new notes from one of the machines in town. He decried a situation whereby a bank that has about 4 automated teller machines will only put a limited number of the new notes in just one machine, thereby creating scarcity. The new withdrawal policy announced by the Central Bank of Nigeria and whose implementation is already in progress stipulates that individual bank customers cannot withdraw more than 100,000 naira in cash over the counter and through the ATMs or POS in a day. These amount to 500,000 naira weekly and 2 million naira monthly. It also placed the withdrawal limit for corporate customers at 5 million naira per week, translating to 20 million naira per month. Oluchi Amoda, Osbc News.
Following the recent increase in electricity tariff in the power sector, experts and consumer groups have said that the federal government and discos are taking Nigerians for granted. Taiwo Alake has details of this and more.
Speaking on the issue, they demanded the federal government to order the power distribution companies to reverse the tariff hike, stressing that it came amidst the severe economic crisis in Nigeria currently. They also stated that power distributors increased the electricity tariff payable by consumers without following due process as contained in the multi-year tariff order. Since the hike tariff was confirmed by a disco last week, several condemnations had trailed the developments, despite the silence of the industry regulator concerning the issue. It was learned that electricity distribution companies had quietly increased the tariff payable by power consumers across the country. The report stated that though most of the disco did not make this public, electricity users kicked against the move, describing it as a perfect robbery amidst the harsh economic realities in Nigeria currently. Meanwhile, freight forwarders have said there may be congestion of imported vehicles at the nation's seaports following the Nigeria Customs Service decision to raise duty on imported vehicles by 10%. In an interview with newsmen, the agent accused the service of infecting 10% duty increase, but failed to apply the 10% yearly depreciation value of imported used vehicles. The deputy president of the National Association of Governments Approved Freight Forwarders, Nnamdi Ngoshuku, wondered why the NCS stated a new financial calendar in January when this was meant to be done. Also speaking, the chairman of the Port and Terminal Multipurpose Limited chapters of the Africa Association of Professional Freight Forwarders and Logistics of Nigeria, Geoffrey Nwosu, says the custom has hiked their duty to 2014 baseline, stating this January. Taiwo Alake, OSBC News.
The National Independent Electoral Commission has raised an alarm over the rising security situation across the country and its impact on the 2023 general elections. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu, who spoke as the validation of election security training resources held in Abuja today, noted that the forthcoming election faces serious threat of cancellation should the insecurity across the country fails to improve. Yakubu, represented by the chairman, Board of Electoral Institute Abdullahi Zuru, explained that if the insecurity is not monitored and dealt with decisively, it could ultimately culminate in the cancellation or postponement of elections in sufficient constituencies to hinder declaration of election results and precipitate constitutional crisis. The commission, however, assured that it would not leave anything to chance in ensuring that intensive and extensive security are provided for election personnel, materials, and processes. Mahmoud said the INEC appreciates the fact that election security is vital to democratic consolidation through provision of enabling environment for the conduct of free, fair, credible, and inclusive elections, and thus strengthening the electoral process. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has charged members of the People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Council to get themselves equipped with the provisions of the new Electoral Act as amended ahead of the February general elections. The governor gave the charge while declaring open a two-day Train the Trainers workshop for members of the campaign council at the Performing Theatre of Adeleke University, Ede, Osun State. Governor's Office Correspondent Abdurrahim Adekilepon reports.
In the workshop open, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke welcomed the participants at a two-day training program organized for members of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Presidential Campaign Council who were drawn from all the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT to Osun State. Senator Adeleke said the import of the training is to equip the participants with necessary information and logistics that will assist them in guiding other party members and the electorates. He appealed to them to pay rapt attention to the lessons they will be taught, so as to enable them impart knowledge on others when they return to their respective states. He thereafter declared the workshop open.
A lot of people don't understand when you say you want to sacrifice. You must put in your 100%. You must be focused, so that at the end of the day, we shall rejoice. We shall say that, yes, we have gotten to that promised land. And we shall say, thank you, God Almighty, because you have helped us. The way you help Osun State, and we are putting this Osun State as a test case and a template of winning the federal. And it's going to happen, inshallah. And it's going to happen at the special grace of God. So I want you guys to concentrate. Don't bring it for like I said before. Concentrate and focus. And I'm sure within that 2 days, you will grab in everything.
Earlier in his welcome address, the acting chairman of the PDP in Osun State, Dr. Akindele Adekunle, lauded the national leadership of the party for choosing Osun State as the template for the national election.
We are very confident that the knowledge and the skill you will acquire during this training will bolster the chances of our party in winning the general election.
Also speaking, the PDP Director of Training, Honorable Austin Opara, and the Deputy Director of Training for the Northern Region, Mrs. Boni Haruna, lauded the governor for hosting the participants and appealed to them to make the best use of the training session to position themselves for the next general election to ensure victory for the party. In his goodwill message, the chairman and chancellor of Adeleke University, Dr. Deji Adeleke, lauded the participants for their steadfastness, urging them to take a cue from Osun templates.
Let us pay attention, be attentive to what we are going to be taught here. Very, very important, because this program is to train the trainers. So if the trainer miss anything, that means it will not be passed on to the people at home.
It has been Abdurrahim Adekleko reporting.
Meanwhile, the Osun State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has commended the state governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, for taking a firm stance against violence in the build-up to the general elections. The commendation was contained in a statement by the caretaker chairman of PDP in Osun State, Dr. Akindele Adekunle. The release said the governor's timely intervention saved the state and the people of the evil plot that could have posed serious dangers to them. The PDP dismissed as empty and lacking any basis the attempt by the opposition to blame it for the rise in violence in the state. The PDP, however, warned that the people of Osun State will not tolerate desperation capable of throwing the state into chaos from any quarter. The Ataoja of Osogbo, Oba Jimo Olanepekunlaroye II, and the Timi of Ede, Oba Monuruddin Adeshola Lawal Laminisa I, have debunked the rumors and wild insinuations about the status of Osun State Government Secretariat and wild insinuations about the status of the Secretariat. The two royal fathers stated this in a release jointly signed and made available to Osbc News. They affirmed that there is no conflict or controversy over the status, the location, and naming of the state government secretariat. They further reassured that the status quo remains, as the state government has not acted in any way to deny any community of their rights and privileges. They blamed political forces for attempting to politicize the issue to foment trouble and destabilize the state. The traditional rulers called on their subjects at home and abroad to continue to ensure peaceful coexistence across their communities. They expressed conviction that the administration of Governor Ademola Adeleke has genuine intention to deepen inter-community peace and partnership for development of Osun State. Osun State government has lauded the prompt intervention of the Ataoja of Osogbo land, Oba Jimo Oyetunji Olanepekunlaroye II, and the Timi of Ede land, Oba Monuruddin Adeshola Lawal Laminisa I, over the brewing ownership crisis of Abere. The spokesperson to Osun State Governor Malam Olawale Rashid, while speaking with Osbc News, said the governor appreciated the monarchs for their timely response, which has put the issues permanently on rest. The governor's spokesperson said Senator Ademola Adeleke has not and will not give any directive that will be against the interest of any town, while appealing to the indigents of the two neighboring towns to continue to live peacefully together. Malam Olawale attributed the purported rumor to the handiwork of some political players who are afraid of participating in a free and fair elections. He speaks further.
Governor Ademola Adeleke has commended the traditional rulers of Edeland and Osogbo land for their timely intervention in terms of setting the record straight and clearing the state government as to the fact that nothing untoward has happened in terms of the location and the status of the government secretariat. The KBSs have rightly said it, the status quo remains. His Excellency has not denied any community their rights and privileges, and His Excellency is committed to ensure peaceful coexistence among the communities. So His Excellency is full of praise for the traditional rulers for their timely fatherly intervention and it is the hope of the government that our people on both sides of the axis will listen and abide by the plea of the traditional rulers.
In another development, the governor of Osun State, Senator Ademola Adeleke, has announced a new transport management system for the state with a triple objectives of securing the motor parks, creating thousands of jobs, and increasing the state's internally generated revenue. In a statement by the spokesperson to the governor, Malam Olawale Rashid, the state governor described the new transport management model as a fulfillment of his earlier promise to sanitize the current park system and ensure commuters enjoy a new list of safe and secured transportation. The statement indicated that the new model will include union members, generate thousands of jobs, increase internally generated revenue, and secure parks. It added that Comrade Wakil Nuruddin Olurumbi heads vehicle sector, while Comrade Oyeni Isikiru Ayobami leads the cycle wing. As public and private schools in Osun State resumed for the second term of the 2022-2023 academic session today, parents have been admonished to encourage their wards to attend school regularly, while emphasizing that education remains the foundation and key to success. Osbc visits to some schools in Osogbo, the state capital, revealed that the turnout of the pupils was encouraging. Oluwatobiloba Odunoga has more.
Which is capital letter, Abi?
Students and pupils across Osun State resumed for second term of the 2022-2023 academic session, following the completion of the first term academic session. The Osbc News Crew visited some schools in Osogbo, the state capital, including Nawarudin Grammar School, Salvation Army Grammar School, St. Andrews Primary School, Osbc Model School, and AUD Primary School, Kibale, among others, to ascertain the turnout of the students and the teachers for the resumption of the second term of the 2022-2023 academic session. Speaking on the turnout of the students and teachers, the headmistress of St. Andrews Primary School, Mrs. Mosumola Adebisi, and the coordinating principal of Nawarudin Grammar School, Mrs. Sidikat Agbola, maintained that the turnout of the students is encouraging as the teachers are fully ready to start the school curriculum for the second term of the 2022-2023 academic session with the students. The duo stated further that the students have always been told that education is the best legacy, so as to be punctual in their attendance in the school. They noted that education is something that encourages holistic lifestyle and it improves the emotional intelligence and knowledge of the students so as to become better and be self-sufficient in life.
The turn up of the pupils very, very encouraging, and the teachers turn up too very encouraging. We have been started the work.
We have a number of students that have reported. We have all the teachers on ground. We are doing the meeting for the beginning of the term where we do ask them to do all the necessary things to move the school forward. So as at this particular time, the teachers are on ground to teach the students.
Mrs. Adebisi and Mrs. Agbola called on parents to always encourage their wards to attend school at appropriate time, as they always say education is the best legacy. It will be recalled that the schools had vacated from the 18th of December last year for the first term break for Christmas and New Year celebrations.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga, Osbc News.
The federal government has projected that by the first quarter of 2024, Nigeria will put an end to the importation of petroleum products into the country. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, said by the first quarter of 2024, the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt refinery would be partly completed, while the 650,000 barrel per day capacity Dangote refinery will also be on stream. Silva stated this at the resumption of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration scorecard series from 2015 to 2023, organized by the Ministry of Information and Culture. Presenting the scorecard of his ministry, Silva specifically said that the 60,000 barrel per day capacity refinery within the Port Harcourt refinery complex will be ready for production by the first quarter of 2024. According to him, government is currently addressing the challenge of access to crude oil being faced by the modular refineries. He assured Nigerians that with the combined production of the Port Harcourt refinery, Dangote refinery, and the modular refineries, Nigeria will end importation of petroleum products into the country. The Grand Imam of Ilobu land, Sheikh Abdurrahman Abdulaziz, has pledged to continue the propagation of Islam with the help of Allah in Ilobu land and beyond for the spiritual growth of the people. Sheikh Abdulaziz, who made the pledge after his installation on Tobani as the Grand Imam of Ilobu land, appealed for support and cooperation from the Muslim community in the town for him to serve them better. Oluchi Amoda reports.
The Ilobu Central Mosque, venue of the official turbaning ceremony of Sheikh Abdurrahman Abdulaziz, was filled to capacity as dignitaries from far and near, including notable Islamic scholars from the southwest region and beyond, politicians, captains of industries, as well as members of the Ilobu Muslim community gathered for the historic ceremony. The Grand Imam of Osun State, Sheikh Musa Animashahan, as the spiritual father of the day, led other notable Islamic clerics to the event. In his lecture, a cleric, Sheikh Ibrahim Kumfayakun, who congratulated the Muslim community in Ilobu land for choosing a leader who is grounded in both Islamic and Western education, and joined them to cooperate with the Grand Imam for the development of the town. He admonished the new Grand Imam never to deviate from giving the people spiritual direction as enshrined in the Holy Quran. In their goodwill messages, the former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and special host, Honorable Lasun Yusuf, the lawmaker representing Osun Central in the National Assembly, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, a senior advocate of Nigeria and illustrious son of the town, Alhaji Mahmood Adeshina, a politician, Alhaji Abdulmaruf Adebayo, popularly known as Gangaria, among others, described the new Grand Imam of Ilobu land as a round peg in a round hole who will uphold the tenets of the Islamic religion. Similarly, some of the sons and daughters of the town, including Alhaji Muhammadu Raji, Alhaji Abdurrahim Sanusi, and Haja Suwaibat Babalola Dubi, who spoke in separate interviews with Osbc News, expressed gratitude to Almighty Allah for making the day a reality, just as they assured him of the support of the people of the town. Earlier in his welcome address, the chairman of the planning committee, Alhaji Muhyiddin Adeleke, appreciated all the dignitaries who graced the occasion for their support and contributions to the growth of Islam. The event climaxed with the official turbaning of Sheikh Abdurrahman Abdulaziz as the Grand Imam of Ilobu land by the Grand Imam of Osun State, Sheikh Musa Animashahan, flanked by the Are Muslimi of Ilobu land and chief host Alhaji Aziz Olalekan, among other notable Islamic scholars who graced the occasion. The new Grand Imam, who spoke with newsmen shortly after his turbaning, enjoined the people not to deviate from the path of truth, which Islam represents. Sheikh Abdurrahman Abdulaziz was born on the 10th of August, 1964. Oluchi Amuda, Osbc News.
You are welcome to our sports segment. Former Belgium and Everton manager Roberto Martinez has been appointed Portugal head coach. Martinez stood down as Belgium coach after 6 years in charge following their group stage exit in Qatar. Omotayo Adebodo has details of this and more.
Roberto Martinez, aged 49 years, replaces Fernando Santos, who resigned after Portugal's Scottish Open champions injury yet to be diagnosed. Raducanu left the court in tears last week after rolling her ankle during the second set against Slovakia Victoria Kuzmova in a foul-secure bubbles. Nine-time champion Novak Djokovic, who is unvaccinated, was deported last January just before the tournament because of his COVID vaccination status. The Australian Open starts on Monday 16th January and runs until Sunday 29th of January. Omotayo Adebodo, Osbc News.
While on the foreign scene, President Joe Biden has traveled to El Paso to assess enforcement operations at the U.S.-Mexico border, which is his first trip since he assumed office. Sarah Omedile has details of this.
says it carried out military exercises around the South-Road Island of Taiwan that focused on land and seas assaults, the second such drill in less than a month. The People's Liberation Army, in that it will neither escalate conflicts nor provoke disputes, but will firmly defend its sovereignty and security. Meanwhile, United States President Joe Biden has made his first visit to the US-Mexico border since taking office. The hours-long visit followed a recently announced policy initiative by the Biden administration meant to address an increase in undocumented border crossings. The politically charged issue has touched the Democratic president since taking office, with Republican critics charging the administration for being too lenient and rights group charging the newly announced measures will put asylum seekers' life at risk. The stop in the city of El Paso, Texas, took place as Biden traveled to Mexico, where he said to meet President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador before attending a three-way summit with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau the following day in Mexico City. Sarah Omidele, OSBC News.
And that ends the major report on OSBC TV. It was edited by Kayode Adebayo. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola saying good night.